Kari Lydersen. I got a book for you. It looks backward. Oh, here you go. It looks back. I don't know. I gotta figure out why does it look backwards? There you go. What's your name? There. I gotta figure out why it looks backward. I'll figure that out. The author of Mayor 1%. Wow. I'm so happy you're here.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
It's Mayor Rahm Emanuel still. What was your book all about? Tell the folks what your book about.
Yeah,
What
so
was
in
it
a
all about?
nutshell, yeah, it's about Rahm Emanuel, and at the time he had the moniker Mayor 1% as mayor of Chicago. The book talks a lot about his battle with the Chicago Teachers Union and also with the grassroots mental health movement. And these are both entities that really represented the 99%. And this was at a time not long after Occupy Wall Street, and when there was really this renewed class consciousness in the U.S. Yeah, the book is about Rahm Emanuel, Mayor 1%, and even more so in a way, the rising of Chicago's 99% and these movements, including the teachers union and mental health movement that were really duking it out with Rahm during that time.
I brought you on the show because Mayor Rahm Emanuel, former mayor of Chicago, has been on every video. Maybe he'll be on my show at some point, but he's been on every video show on the planet Earth. And looks like he's trying to run for mayor. I mean, for president, Freudian slip, president. So should people know who Rahm Emanuel really is? Because when I see him on these shows, C-SPAN, I was watching him on I watch all this stuff. He sounds like he knows what he's talking about. And one of the videos, he said, to run for president, a person should have these three qualities: strength, confidence, and optimism. So, but he has all of that. Should the American people know the real Rahm Emanuel that we know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he absolutely has those 3 things, and I do think he knows what he's talking about clearly, but the question is, who is he talking for? Who is he acting for? Where is he really coming from? And, what are his priorities when he's a leader, whether it's mayor or if it were to be president? So, I didn't make up the Mayor 1%. That was a name that was given to him by numerous people and really widely embraced in Chicago because I think it's really accurate, both his actual professional background, investment banking. That's the career he went back to after he was mayor, and then again after he was ambassador to Japan. And at the time he was mayor of Chicago, he did do a lot of good things that helped a lot of people. No doubt, but really the way he went about it and what he prioritized, he slashed jobs. He was all about austerity and really a very undemocratic approach to running the city. He really drowned out and just steamrolled over, the unions, the regular people, the community groups, whole big swaths of Chicago. He would claim to be serving them, but at the same time, he was not giving them a voice in their future and really literally slashing, closing schools, mental health clinics, slashing services. So, kind of tearing apart the fabric of the city and the safety net in the name of efficiency and getting the budget deficit under control and really running the city like a business. And that's what he promised to do. It was no secret. Even during his campaign, he promised to really get the unions under control and, make the city more lean and efficient. And so I don't think he's ever hidden that that's his approach to governing. And a thing that's really, really annoying and frustrating me now when you hear him so often in all these different interviews and venues is he is talking, he's talking populist talking points. He's talking about homeownership. He's, of course, attacking the Trump administration and saying things that probably will appeal to a lot of working people and regular people. But his record shows that, if you look at what he did in Chicago and even his plans for how he'll do some of these things, like the homeownership one, for example, almost everyone's for more homeownership, but he had partnered as mayor with the Blackstone Group, and apparently he'd considered working with them again after being mayor. And this is just one example. That's an entity that's really made homeownership that much harder for people to achieve through vacuuming up all these properties and making them sort of subpar rentals instead of things that could have been homes that people bought. So yeah, I could go on more, but I think basically it's really important for people not to buy. He's a very good talker, so just to look below the surface and what does his record say, and where do his connections and allegiances really lie. And
I had the pleasure of meeting Rahm Emanuel a few times. I drove him once, when I was a limo driver. I also drove
So
Karen Lewis, CTU former
nice.
CTU president Karen Lewis, on different occasions. Wonderful Karen's we had a great time yakking. Rahm was all business. It was we didn't chit-chat, and you're not supposed to chit-chat with the customers unless they chit-chat. Well, ain't no chit-chat with me and Rahm, but Rahm Emanuel told Karen Lewis, former president of CTU, people may have known this, we should dig it back up. I think it was something like 25. He said to Karen Lewis, 25% of the students are never going to mount anything. And I'm paraphrasing, and I shouldn't throw, he said he's never going to throw money at it. He's never going to put the money behind the 25% of the students who are never going to mount anything. And with this AI coming, that was many years ago, with this AI, it
Yes.
might be 2012 when your book was out. And with the AI coming, it could be 50% of students come out of CPS in any school system may not never have work in a living wage job or a job that never gets them to the middle class, quote unquote middle class. Is Rahm Emanuel going to fix that?
I certainly don't think so. I mean, on the AI front alone, he talks about this 10% tax on online gaming and predictive markets and putting that towards science and health research, which is great, but, AI and quantum computing. And I mean, that makes me worry too. Like, is it all going to be just like in Chicago, all about courting, if he were to be president, advancing and courting the cutting edge AI technologies and helping them take those jobs so we have even fewer living wage jobs for people. And, we did get the impression when he was mayor that he's obviously very ambitious and high achieving. And, that's the type of people and entities and culture that, he's all about promoting. And if your needs aren't efficient, if you just need more support or more help or more time or, you need a job, like that's doesn't seem like it's his priority to help the people that or not help, but to provide to empower the people in communities that have been left out and aren't ready to be making the next advance in quantum computing right now or something like that.
We're almost done, Carrie. I must confess, please don't close the confessional door when I say this. I must confess, I voted for Rahm Emanuel twice because for mayor, because at the time I was a limo driver and I said I want a mayor who's going to bring business to this cold weather
Mhm.
town. And I make money as the hired help as a limo driver. That's why I voted for him. I did vote for the current mayor, Mayor Brandon Johnson, a
Mhm.
progressive. Okay, I'm done with confessing. You can beat me up and curse me out after that. Curse me out after that. End the show by just telling people how do we should we go, like I said, go read your book. Here you go. There we go. Read the book. Or how do we learn about more Rahm Emanuel? Because I always tell people Rahm Emanuel's running against Pritzker. Is Pritzker over Emanuel? Josh Shapiro over Emanuel? What's the governor from your home state? What's his name? Looks like he's
Pritzker.
out of central casting.
Oh, he
No,
means
the governor
California,
of
Newsom. Yeah,
California.
yeah, Newsom.
Newsom,
Right,
Gavin Newsom. If
right,
Emmanuel
right.
Newsom, I vote for, Newsom. If he becomes the vice president candidate, I would just have to hold my nose because that's the way politics work. Close the show by saying a few nice or not so nice things about Rahm Emanuel.
Well, just another
Um,
thing I wanted to mention, this will be my closing words. In a Sun Times story, apparently his spokesperson said to Fran Spielman that they don't care what Brandon Johnson thinks. No one cares what Brandon Johnson thinks. Forget him, basically. And like to me, that was really, really disturbing because the people of Chicago voted for Brandon Johnson, and he's the mayor of Chicago. And I mean, that was Rahm's spokesman, not Rahm himself. But it's that kind of attitude. We need democracy, and Rahm talks about promoting democracy very much, but I feel like in his actual actions, at least when he was running Chicago, he's not actually he doesn't actually take a democratic approach. He, leads for the 1% or the very small top percent. So yeah, that's definitely something I want people to keep in mind.
Kari Lydersen, thank you.
Thank you.